The biggest mistake in Gran Turismo isn't braking wrong or taking wrong lines, etc. No. It's not racing because you're afraid of being slow or losing DR. With over 400 hours coaching, I see the same trends time and time again. Yes, I could do a 5 biggest mistakes in coaching video talking about how people always brake too late and turn in too late, etc. But it's been done before by many others, whereas this never gets talked about. No one ever talks about the fear of racing and how to overcome it, and no one talks about how avoiding your weak races is holding you back. And with over 400 hours of coaching, trust me when I say 99% of students I have ever had have had to deal with this, and most still do. You can be taught to brake correctly and develop car sympathy and car control, but the biggest thing holding you back isn't that. It's how you approach racing and your emotional response to racing. So if that sounds like you, and I don't need to ask that question, I already know there's a 99% chance it is you. Stick around because no one has ever done this video before. So, you spent hours, even days sometimes, in time trial trying to get the best qualifying time you can. You refuse to race until you have a lap that puts you near the front in your races. You finally earn that lap time, and full of hope and optimism, you queue up to race. And then your races go bad. Yes, you're getting hit and pushed around, and yes, those people are impatient, entitled, and not clean. But the fact is, if you had the race pace to match your qualifying time, you would escape over half of those situations, probably more. And you don't need me to tell you that, you already know it. But you blame everyone else anyway, just like I did. Yes, you get pushed wide, but if you were fast enough and didn't make that mistake in that corner, that guy wouldn't have been in that position to push you wide. Recognizing this dynamic, you fall into a trap whereby you only race at your strong combinations. Any tracks or cars you don't like, you avoid them. No races in a given week you are good at, you don't race, period. You want to be a fast sim racing driver, but you won't achieve it with this approach. Avoiding racing because of fear of losing DR or being slow is a self-defeating cycle you will never pull out of. What you need is experience. To be a fast sim racing driver, you have to race. Nothing replicates a race. The very fact that it's a race against real people is the biggest factor that sends your nervous system into fight or flight mode, which in turn is the biggest factor behind 90% of your mistakes, which in turn is the biggest factor behind why your races go bad, not other people. This is the whole point of my Racecraft Race IQ series. Situational, spatial awareness, decision making and mental bandwidth cannot be practiced in any other environment. And that's before we even mention tyre wear, changing fuel weight, or equal conditions being turned off in a race. So how do you fix this? The next video in this series will deal with specific mechanisms I use to overcome nerves, anxiety, or the weight of self-imposed expectations. I am no sports psychologist, but I have learned a few tricks, and in the next video I will explain them to you, and maybe they will help you too. For now, let's deal with what you need to do. You have to forget about driver rating, forget about being slow, forget about results, and just go race. Week in, week out, every week, as much as possible. If you have cheesed your DR by focusing on strong combinations, this means you're going to lose DR. Let it happen. You are not worthy of a given DR level until you are worthy of it. DR doesn't matter, and protecting it will hold you back. When you are worthy of a given DR level, it will happen naturally, without pushing for it or thinking about it. It will come as a byproduct of putting your efforts elsewhere. DR is the reward, not the focus. To be good at something, you first have to be bad at it. This means embracing being slow, embracing finishing 12th or last. You need experience. It takes 10,000 hours to master something, and the more you defer earning that experience, the longer it will take. Focus on other aspects that demonstrate improvement. Rather than stressing about losing P8 and defending it at all costs from the driver behind, focus on other things. Did you improve your situational awareness? Did you manage your tyres better? Were you more consistent even if you were still last? Did you avoid getting taken out because you made smart decisions? Did you follow a faster driver and notice he had a different braking point or line to you? Did you manage the race with less nerves than usual? These things all add up to experience, and if you can walk away from the end of the week and say you learned something, then that was a good week, even if you lost DR. Absolute worst case scenario, you race, you come last, the whole field gaps you, you don't even see another person on track, pat yourself on the back because you raced anyway. You raced in spite of it and you got valuable experience. You chipped away at that 10,000 hours. You cannot have the sweet without the bitter. You cannot have good races without bad races. You cannot have good weeks without bad weeks. Most people avoid their weak combinations. They only race their strong combos. If there are no strong races that week, they don't race at all. When a strong combination finally comes around, they go race, but now you, have put a ton of pressure on yourself to perform, and succumbing to that pressure, you create the very thing you are afraid of: bad races. You stand to gain a lot more by actually focusing on your weak combinations rather than avoiding them. When you see the new dailies and you see that one race and say, no way I'm doing that, I'm bad at that track and that car, that's the race you need to do. You learn far less and you push yourself far less, and you learn to cope with adversity far less when you focus on your strong combinations. Focus on your weak combos and you will suffer short-term pain for long-term improvement. You have to step outside of your comfort zone to force an improvement. How does a soldier feel going into a live ammo battle drill? Nervous, I am sure. But when it comes time to go into an actual battle, he is undoubtedly grateful for that training. In sim racing, nothing replicates a real race. Nothing. We can't simulate it with a live ammo drill, so to speak. Instead, you just have to go into battle until your nervous system can cope with it. There are no shortcuts, no fast tracks, no alternatives, and no amount of time trial will fix this for you. Even at my level, I can spot the top 100 drivers who are going to have a bad few races because they time trialed 200, 300 miles before racing. They get on top of it, of course, but if top 100 drivers aren't immune to this, then you certainly aren't, myself included. When I know I'm going to have a hard time, like this week at Willow Springs, I race even more. I lost net 3k DR this last Monday. I made many mistakes. I was outside my comfort zone and I was pushing too hard considering those factors. All this meant I was not in the flow state and I underperformed. I knew this would happen going into it because we never get Big Willow in the daily rotation, and on top of that, I don't like the track. But I felt the same way about Fuji once upon a time, Nürburgring too, and many other tracks, and there are videos on this channel showing me conquering those tracks and having great results. I didn't achieve that by avoiding that track. If I had avoided them as a B rank driver, I wouldn't be strong there now. And I know you're probably thinking, so what, Luke? You lost 3k DR at your level, it's meaningless. Sorry to break it to you, but it's meaningless at your level too. So what if you lose B rank? Or if you lose C rank? Embrace it. Learn to cope with it. In time, learn to not care. It's only important to you because you place DR as the priority without viewing it as the reward or byproduct of putting your efforts elsewhere. And for the record, I've had this approach since I was a C-ranked driver, since I became cognizant that avoiding weak combos was a bad idea. And if you don't avoid weak combos, you're forced into a mindset where you stop caring about DR because it will happen a lot. This is why I sign off my videos with get out of here and go race. It's not just a catchy signature sign-off line, it's an instruction. I said it once without thinking when I was talking about the trap of time trialing too much, and I kept it in ever since because with the privileged position of over 400 hours of coaching, I know more than most that you guys don't race enough. And if you could just overcome that and race in spite of adversity, you would reap the benefits in time if you're patient with yourself and if you focus on the right things, namely self-improvement, you versus you, not you versus everyone else. So, you know what you gotta do. Get out of here and go race.